for the Rio Deadwood podcast. And we were talking to Big Kenny Alphin from Culpeper, Virginia. Were you actually born in Culpeper?
Seventh generation farm boy.
Really?
Born November 1st, 1963, Culpeper, Virginia. My mother was birthed in the house. My grandmother there before her. My relatives are buried in the cemetery out in front of the house I was raised in from the 1700s. The house was built before the Revolutionary War. It was used as a hospital during the Civil War. That might be one of the reasons why I like Deadwood, South Dakota so much. You know, I really love the history of it, and I think there's just a tremendous amount to learn from that history. In some ways that we do things that we do repeat, like playing lots of music here and having lots of fun, and things that we don't repeat, like our peoples getting along, and learning how to coexist with each other. As we know, some of the stories from the Black Hills and the natives are a little rough, a little bit less than flattering in the history of America.
So when did you leave Culpeper? You went to high school in Culpeper too?
Yeah, born and raised, and finished high school there, and farmed with my father and ran a construction company until, I guess I was about 25. I had 75 employees working for me, and then in the late 80s, the construction industry collapsed. That was when that first savings and loan scoundrel, whatever his name was, started a chain reaction that just kind of closed up every bank across the United States at that point.
What did you guys build?
Built everything.
Yeah. Doors and homes and whatnot?
Yeah, you name it.
Were you doing music back then? Were you just playing locally at all? Or?
No.
Really? You ever taken lessons?
No. I was working on a construction site one day, trying to build my way out of the economic disaster that had happened in the late 80s, and a friend says, "Hey, Kenny, you sing pretty good. You ought to go to Nashville. I hear they pay people to write songs down there." And I sat my 22-ounce Estwing framing hammer down, and I looked him in the eye and I said, "You've got to be kidding me. And I've been working this hard all my life."
Now you tell me.
In a couple of weeks, or a few days, I was driving home from a job and saw a music store on the side of the road. I stopped and bought a guitar and started teaching myself to play. And
what year was this now?
Early 90s. And in 1994, I moved to Nashville. And at the end of 1994, beginning of 1995, I got my first professional gig as a songwriter with Famous Music, which was Paramount at that time. In 1998 into 99, I got my first record deal with Hollywood Records. And in 2002, 2003, I got my second record deal, which was the Big and Rich record deal. And 2008, 2009, I started my own record label. In the midst of that, I think I have about 8 jobs actually still to this day. And in 1998, actually, it was in between the record deals that I kind of came up with my motto, which I'd always kind of lived by it, but I'd never, I started printing on everything I did. I put on the back of my guitars, "Love everybody," with a mission statement of highlight the good, inspire greatness, and encourage mutual responsibility for the betterment of humankind. In the early 2000s is when I was introduced to Deadwood, South Dakota. Just fell in love with it. I mean, having traveled the country now, it's just such a beautiful part of the United States. Deadwood in specific is, just personifies a small town. Very fortunate in this small town of some 1,500 permanent residents that I'm sure it gets 1 million visitors a year.
About 2 million.
Kind of like Moab. It's a place of such interest and such nature that it draws people. Very lucky here also to have the bike rally, Sturgis, that has gone on now for years and years. I've been fortunate to actually be here and play it.
Yeah.
And that's a hoot. I've been back to Deadwood every year since I first saw this place.
How did you wind up here? How did you come to, you guys to come to Deadwood?
A friend of mine, Bill McDavid. Bill McDavid and Freddie Powers had been on a traveling trip and just going around the country and seeing the world and seeing the United States. And I saw Bill in Bill and Freddie in Nashville, Tennessee, where they were describing to me this place they had found that they thought was just one of the most beautiful places on God's great earth, Deadwood, South Dakota, and that must go visit it, must go visit it, must go visit it. And they kept on until my manager at that time for Big and Rich, Mark Oswald, had come up here also at the encouragement of Bill. And while he was here, he met a lot of the locals and actually booked a date for us to come up here and play a show. We played at the Buffalo Bodega.
Yeah, I was there that night.
Yeah.
John won money at the poker table and bought everybody a beer.
Yeah, we would probably, whether we won money or not, if we could find a couple $100, we'd buy everybody a beer no matter what.
So now Bill McDavid and his partner, Spencer, didn't they have the original idea for the slime plant, to turn the slime plant into a venue where that people could play and kind of turn it into a convention deal? Yeah,
that's definitely was Bill's dream at that time. Yeah.
And so, well, now the slime plant is getting closer and closer to being a real thing, and you're involved with that. Why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Towards the end of Bill's life, having met everybody up here in Deadwood, and having grown to adore the place and made a bunch of friends here, I wanted to see it happen, and we just took on a position of encouraging some of my friends in the music business there in Nashville to work together with some of my friends here in Deadwood, South Dakota, and to see this project through. And I knew, I guess the first thing we did was just buy the property. And I figured that with all of the partners that we had together, I thought we had enough of everything covered that if it was meant to be, that it could become a reality. And as I sit here today, it is becoming a reality.
Yep.
The Deadwood Mountain Grand Hotel, Casino, and Showroom. I always include the name Showroom because the thing that really excites me about this, and from the beginning, is that there would be a venue here in Deadwood, South Dakota, that would hold a good number of people.
Yep.
So will be a 2,500 seat showroom there in the slime plant, built 1907, and that would be a place that artists touring across the country could stop off here in what I knew to be one of the more beautiful communities in our country. There's
just one of the prettiest cities in the nation.
Yeah, a lot of music lovers here, and I think everyone will really enjoy it. I was also really encouraged by the idea that this community is one of the largest historic preservation projects in our country. That's important to me.
Yep.
Being raised in a home that was built before the Revolutionary War, again, there's so much good to come from those stories and that history, and that's why I sit here with you today as we continue to try to record that history and tell people how the slime plant is coming of its new life.
So we have the groundbreaking coming up Monday morning, and that's going to be kind of a nice big deal, kind of a historic deal.
Yeah, I brought my own shovel.
Did you?
Yeah, let's break that ground.
I brought one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.